In this video, I'm gonna teach you how to read tempo prescriptions for your training programs, and then also why I use tempo prescriptions in my training programs. Okay, let's get right into it. So when you see tempo, you'll see it at something like this, 3011. So the first number is gonna be the downward phase of the movement. The next number is gonna be the bottom position of the movement. And then the third number is gonna be the upward phase of the movement. And then the last number is gonna be the top position of the movement. So if you're performing a back squat, you're gonna go 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000 on the way down, no pause in the bottom of the squat, and then a 1 second up, and then 1 second pause at the top. So you're taking another breath, and then you're going right back into your next repetition. You see down here, we have a 2 right at that bottom position. So 3 seconds down, 2 seconds in the bottom, 1 on the way up, 1 at the top. And then down here, we have 3 seconds on the way down, 0 pause at the bottom. We have an X, and then we have a 1. So that X just means explode or as fast as possible. The main purpose here is the intent behind it. So if you intend to go as fast as possible, the recruitment tends to be a lot higher, and you get more potential out of the movement as far as strength and power development. And then finally, we have 30A1. So this is assisting. So you're assisting yourself pretty much into position or back up. So let's just say if you were performing a push-up, you'll go 1, 2, 3 on the way down, 0 pause in the bottom, and then you can use your knees to get you back up into that top position. Or if you're doing a pull-up, you would jump into position, lower yourself down 3 seconds, and then assist yourself back up to that top position. So that's what that means there. So for certain movements now, you will start on the third number. So in the back squat, you start on the first number. A movement like a deadlift, you're gonna start on the third number. So the bar is resting on the ground, and you're gonna start with an upward phase. So you're gonna pull for 1 off the ground, hold for a second at the top, and then you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, down to the bottom to lower, 0 seconds in the bottom, then right back up. So the same thing for something like a overhead press or even a push press. So it's a push press, dip and drive, 1 second at the top, a 1, 2, 3, lower. Really good idea if you want to try and overload that pressing motion for the eccentric portion to get more strength gains out of that movement if you can't do much from strict barbell press. So how it will look in a workout, you will see your exercise here. You will see your bench press at 30x1, and then you have your 6 to 8 reps, and then 4 sets, rest 3 minutes in between. You have a rep range here. I like to use rep ranges from time to time. Rep ranges gives you an idea of if you keep the tempo and you hit 8 repetitions, then that means you can go up in weight. But if, let's just say at rep 6, you pause for 3 seconds at the top, then you stop and you don't increase in weight. So you just keep the same weight for the remainder of your sets that you have there. So it's a good gauge on how tough and challenging the lift is for you at that particular point in time, as long as you keep the tempo here. All right, so that's how you read tempo prescriptions. That's how you start it for certain movements. Certain movements you'll start on the first, certain movements you'll start on the third. Now we're gonna get into why I use tempo prescriptions in some of my workouts. So for technique, so for some of my athletes, technique is a big issue. Let's just say if you're a beginner, maybe you want to emphasize technique, and I usually emphasize technique with those. So it might be 3 seconds down in order to really control the eccentric to get the muscles to kick in. Let's just say those stabilizer muscles or synergistic muscles to kick in more efficiently than if we were just like dive bombing into the bottom of a squat and then just coming back up. It allows the technique to be more sound as we're learning certain movements. So consistency from week to week. So let's just say we have this same tempo here, and then we have 6 repetitions that we're hitting for, let's just say a 200-pound back squat. And then the next week we do the same tempo, same reps, but then we hit 220 for that back squat. Now that we know that we're doing the same tempo and we're doing the same amount of repetitions, we can consistently say that we definitely probably improved on our strength when it comes to that specific lift. Now, if you did the following week, you didn't have a tempo here and you rested for 5 seconds at the top for every single repetition, then you know it's more so that you rested a little bit longer than you did the previous week, possibly, for the strength improvements. So it's a way to keep consistency across the board from week to week. Rehab purposes. Some athletes may come in with injuries. or maybe a little banged up from certain things, or maybe rehabbing or trying to rehabilitate some type of back issue. So if you're going into a back squat and we're trying to reintroduce that movement pattern, let's just say we're going with the front squat instead, but we're gonna go at a 3-second tempo on the way down. We're gonna do a 2-second pause in the bottom, and then maybe we do a 2-second concentric portion. So all of that does is allow the movement to be even more slow and controlled. It reduces the amount of load that you can do because the tempo is going to be higher time under tension total for that whole entire movement. So it reduces the amount of loading, and then it also allows the stabilizer muscles to kick in a little bit better and more efficiently than it would if you did not have a tempo here and you were just banging through repetitions. Weaknesses. So when it comes to weaknesses and tempo, if you think about it this way, let's just say you're weak at the top portion of your lift, then maybe you want to do maybe a 3-second pause at the top of the lift as well. So it's a 1, 2, 3, and then lower 1, 2, 3, 0 seconds at the bottom, press up for 1, 1, 2, 3, etc. So you could do that for the bottom of a back squat. Let's just say the bottom portion, you're weak coming out of the hole. Maybe you want to do a 2-second pause in the bottom of the lift. So you can do that for so many different movements. You can emphasize whatever portion of the lift you're weak in, or certain characteristics that you're trying to improve on for those weaknesses. So technique, consistency, rehab, and weaknesses. So that's how you read tempo prescriptions. That's some of the reasons why you use tempo prescriptions and how you can adjust it and how you see it in a workout. So if you have any other questions about tempo, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get back to you, and I'll see you in the next video.